All right, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Is It Prophecy here on Israel National Radio, Root Sheva. The show is syndicated as Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis, type that in, and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free to do so. And tell your friends and family to do the same. Also, I'm on JApp. You can get JApp by downloading it from iTunes or Google Play stores or from the website www.j-app.me. JApp is a Jewish application that has a lot of my episodes as well as sharing, so you can do that and download that and listen to those episodes and those classes. And, of course, any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email me, messiahhour@gmail.com. Very sad incident that happened on Friday, terrorist attack in France where innocent Jews died just because they were Jewish. They didn't do anything wrong, and it's creating, as it should, a global uprising. A lot of people have different beliefs of how we should react to the situation. So we're going to talk about that terrible story on the line right now from SoulMazal.com, Rabbi David Katz. Rabbi, how you doing out there?
Thanks for having me back on, Ari, and I was enjoyed being here to talk with you and hearing from the listeners.
Yes, and it's a tough time to have you on, but I thought that you were the perfect guest to have on because we want to go in detail why what happened occurred. Let's start first, global reaction. Stephen Harper, he said, and he's been a friend for Israel for a long time, he said that this is a declaration. He wanted to declare war on global jihad. Is that a sign of Gog HaMagog?
This is one of my favorite topics because your show is about Messiah Hour and Gog HaMagog, and I know it doesn't always get the most airtime in the things that you do, but people are trying to find the guy. You know, you pin the tail on the donkey. Who is the guy? Where do we see signs in the world? And I think what bothers me the most about any kind of being a pundit is everyone takes the most literal and obvious avenues to try to solve equations. I mean, for example, just on a side note, the election coming up. I mean, I'm a big believer that Naftali Bennett's going to do stuff, just shaking up stuff, right? But why talk about Bibi Netanyahu? I mean, he'll probably win, but that's obvious and boring, So look at Gog HaMagog things. It's like Obama, he's Gog. Well, yeah, I mean, he's not the best guy around, but it's just kind of an obvious bad guy, right? In any kind of movie scenario, it's always like a nice like movie when it's like a thing you never saw coming. So Harper's that guy. I know I set this up a little bit much, but Harper is that guy. Right? Canada is like your dark horse. He is your radical right wing Christian Zionist. Canada has slowly built the model of economic stability and global turbulence. They're just they're not shady in terms of like Russian mafia shady, right? They're shady because they know what they're doing. They've been quiet for a long time in terms of taking the mantle of world leadership. But this may be kind of a strange thing, but like on YouTube, the guys that make the videos that make the most sense, that can crack what is the secret of the economic crisis and all these things, it's the Canadians. Their standard of education, I think, they say is very high for the median level. So when Stephen Harper says he's going to go to war against global jihad, that says something. Obama is just rhetoric. Putin, we want him to be Gog, but that's just rhetoric. Merkel probably is Gog, but that's also just the old Germany thing. But the point is, when Harper says he's going to war against jihad, I think that's the guy. I think that's maybe not the guy, but that's where you want to look for the messianic angle for sure. And here he is on cue. He finally the dog barked. I'm saying look at Stephen Harper. I mean, that's a good place to look.
So you're of an idea that it's the hidden guy. It's not the guy that's the top global leader in the world. It's the guy that maybe isn't at the top, but he has some power, obviously, Prime Minister of Canada. Let's talk about, there was a rally because of what happened to support the Jewish people, and there were people from Israel that went, and then a boss was sent because Netanyahu wanted to go, so France wanted to send a boss, and Obama didn't go, which I thought was strange. I wanted to get your thoughts about it.
They say that Abbas and Kim Kardashian are going to get the Nobel Peace Prize.
All right, well, there you go. Why not? If they give it to Arafat, you can give it to anybody.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the fact that Abbas goes, I mean, can you get more comical than that? I know it's a serious situation, but come on. I mean, really? The guy's like, I mean, he's like the inheritor of the inventor of modern terrorism. And they're sending the guy as if it matters, like, I mean, give me a break. I mean, what kind of shenanigans is that? And then, if that's not enough, Bibi's there, okay, classic, Merkel's there, way to go. UK's there, Obama, no show. I mean, really? I don't know which one's more important, that Abbas went or that Obama didn't go, in terms of chutzpah. That's a toss-up.
Yeah. What would you say? You say it's a toss-up, but I think it's more chutzpah that Obama didn't go.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty. I mean, and there's no reason, no rationale, and so I mean, things are just getting shady. It's the guy that is Gog or could be Gog is the guy you didn't think. I mean, this is all speculation. I'm aware of that, but I mean, what is Obama doing? It's just strange. The whole thing is really strange. It doesn't follow any set pattern. It's blatant, it really is blatant. And there's got to be a story brewing. I mean, we know that. I mean, it's obvious, but the kind of thing that you wouldn't have thought. I mean, it's not just, oh, I am Obama, I am a reincarnation of some Egyptian deity, or whatever people are spreading around the internet. But there is something definitely going with Obama not having gone and a boss going for some kind of sham.
And I just want to clarify, because people listening might be saying, oh, well, you're an Obama hater. Well, I'm not the biggest fan of the guy, but this is a Paris mass rally that world leaders attended. I mean, obviously, Bibi was there. He's the Israeli prime minister. You had the French president, of course, Germany's chancellor, European Council president Donald Tusk, Palestinian president, the bosses we talked about. So there are a lot of top leaders there, and Obama could have figured out a way to go. Maybe he's busy golfing with Beyonce or Jay-Z or whatever. But in any case, he could have gone. This is a prophecy on Israel National Radio, Root Sheva, and the show is syndicated as Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is free to do so. And, of course, I'm on JApp, www.j-app.me. You can download JApp, again, from Google Play Stores and from the website, japp.me. Again, our guest this afternoon, Rabbi David Katz of somazal.com. It was commented that if the Jews make a mass aliyah, they leave France, which a lot of people are saying it's time to do so. I mean, past time, really. There was a comment that the soul will be gone. What does that mean?
So I think the theme of this show, so I mean, you can see a theme here, right? The theme is, what is that? That's the theme, I think. What is a boss going to the rally? What is this idea or concept of Obama not going? What is this thing called, of all nations leading the war, Harper? What is this thing called France? I don't even know what France is. A lot of things that you do in yeshivas for kind of, not fun, but intellectual investigation, right? Why weren't the Jews exiled to China? One of the famous questions posed, right?
Right.
Why didn't we go through China and eat Chinese food in China? Right. So one of the questions I have is, what in the world is France? I mean, who is it in terms of Judaism? The UK kind of has like a relationship with Jews. I think they were kicked out in World War II, whatever it was. They were never invited back in. That's a famous thing tossed around. Germany doesn't need any introduction. Spanish Inquisition, right? Famous one. In terms of anti-Semitism, love-hate relationships, what is France? I mean, the only thing I can think of before English became what it is worldwide, French was the world tongue, right? Everything was done in French. And recently I did a piece with French speakers. And, I don't speak a word of French, but it was all around me, and there were videos on YouTube. And you can just kind of tell that there's an all-inclusive world with French. You know what I'm saying? Not I don't know if I haven't been around every nation in the world, but you just kind of sense that they got their own culture, their own blend of everything. I mean, French ego or French culture, not ego, but you mean like the French. I am French. You know what I mean?
Right.
It has its own thing. It's a thing, and so if the French are that strong, and whatever it is they're doing, I think it's a self-contained system. I don't know if you're gonna know really unless you're there, right? I mean, the pundits on the outside can say like, well, French, this and that, but really, if they're nervous or concerned about the Jews leaving, then the Jews there are part of and an integral part of this French thing. And I'm speaking vague because I'm not French and I've never been there, but just by Jewish dynamics, right? And the famous, axiom, when the Jews are in the country and they're not running it, but just an integral part of the show. I mean, look at Germany, right? When the Jews go out, the country falls. That's the famous kind of cliche. So here France is saying, don't make us next. And it looks like they're going to be next.
Let's talk a little bit more about that. I find that very interesting. I've seen the famous Ken Spiro T-shirt where he has all the different nations and countries that treated the Jews badly and that they don't exist. Egypt, Nazi Germany, Spain. I mean, the list goes on and on. Why is that? Why is it that the Jews leave a country, then the country falls apart?
I think, the Bible, as anybody would read it, and I say the Bible, meaning when the non-Jews read the Bible, Israel received the Torah at Sinai. This is the Word of God. The Jews might not believe it themselves so much, or as much, right, as the non-Jews. But the nation of Israel received the Torah, and that they're a particular type of nation. For example, in the book of Exodus, Moses wants to bring out the Erev Rav, the mixed multitude, and make Gerim, your Torah observance out of unobservance, right?
Right.
And so Moses' idea is, this is a great thing, and we're going to be like the nations, and this is a great idea, and blah, blah, blah. God says, and this is brought down by the Or Chaim commentary, just know this is your deal, not mine. Now, I happen to agree with you, but this is your deal, because my thoughts are not your thoughts. Right? I took my nation, you're taking yours. And for whatever you think you're doing it, that's not why I would do it. Point is, God has a nation, the nation of Israel. And that nation goes around country to country and is upheld by God. So that there's going to be a stability, a dynamic stability of Israel wherever they go, even if not only for survival. Right? And so it's been all through the European states, almost all the way through there. And I think now we're looking at the fall of, I think, the one that slipped under the radar all this time. I mean, you'll say, the experts out there will say, well, the French Jews were this, Napoleon. But really, France never really got the airtime that it's getting now. Not that I don't think so. I mean, you can't compare it to Nazi Germany or Spain, not in the slightest.
Well, when you say airtime, do you mean airtime with the Jews?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Jews dying, being kicked out, or the anti-Semitism with cars on fire. I mean, all this stuff, right? The Holocaust was something different. You're in Poland, and I mean, that was an era, but that was Germany. I mean, that was the influence of Germany and the anti-Semitism at that time. You have your Russian thing with Stalin, but I'm saying now there's a certain kind of spice to this one. Can you sense that? Like with the France, there's like a spice to it.
Yeah, and it seems like it has been somewhat recent. When I say recent, I mean 10 to 15 years. If you go through the different countries, England had its time. They had a period where they kicked out the Jews.
Right.
And you had Shakespeare describe Shylock the way he described him, and Spain, and et cetera. So you're saying this is the lights on France right now?
I think so. I mean, and maybe it's just from a Torah angle. Maybe from like a social angle, you could argue a different point. But in Jewish history, from a yeshivish mindset, the shtetl mentality, France was just never brought up. I mean, it's usually Eastern Europe was the real shtetl and Hasidus and Galicia, right? And Poland and the whole that whole Zach, and then you got Germany and the Spanish Sephardim, but France is never. It was never a geschmack, any discussion about it. Except for Rashi. It's Rashi. That was always, that's the point. It was always in a good light. Rashi uses French in his commentary. But again, it's not even the French people per se. This is the point. You know what? This is the point. This is Ishmael in France. This isn't your typical Frenchman. This is Ishmael invading France. What is it, like 5 million, I think I saw? 5 million Ishmaelites to 500,000 Jews. So the dynamic and demographic is completely different. It's just different. This reeks of Galus Ishmael, the exile of Ishmael, I think, more than any type of traditional Edomite problem in European states, particularly France.
There's the joke, what's the only Muslim democracy? It's France. There's
right.
also a joke that the city of France, the capital, should be named Paristan. I mean, I'm not the first one to come up with those jokes. Again, this is It Prophecy on Israel National Radio, Root Sheva. The show is syndicated as Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And any questions, you can email me, messiahhour@gmail.com. We're continuing the conversation with Rabbi David Katz of Solmazal.com. Rabbi Katz, I want to talk about the world's outrage or the world's interest in this. And I want to say this very, very respectfully, because obviously if one Jew dies is too much. But that's because I'm a Jew, I'm saying that. The whole world is interested in this, of 4 Jews being murdered. Is it because of Mashiach consciousness that even deep down the non-Jew knows that the Messiah is close?
I think that there's a lot of things going on. I mean, you can see that the nature of what we're saying today is not, it is written here and France is this, right? But I think the idea is we're all scratching our heads saying, what's going on? And the idea is, is it Harper? Is it Bush? Is it Obama? Is it Putin? Is it Shimon Peres? Is it all these former guys, old guys, younger guys? Is it Edom? Is it Ishmael? Is it Korea? Everyone's pointing fingers. It's strange, but the finger pointing is because we know we're at a very strange point in time. It's ironic that we know we're there, but yet we question it at the same time, right? I mean, why are we not convinced that Mashiach's right around the corner when it's absolutely blatantly obvious? I mean, by the nature of who's involved, who's doing what, ISIS in the Middle East, yet we still linger with doubts and questions. And it's strange. I mean, I do it myself. You probably do it. We know we're there, but yet we know we're not. It's very odd. And there's no answer. There's no obvious villain. As when I say we're looking for Harper. Is it maybe Harper's like not even involved? Maybe I'm way off the mark. Maybe Obama is some kind of reincarnation from Egyptian deity, like they want to say, because he looks like a statue of some whatever. It's bizarre. I mean, there's so many avenues, and it's tohu. It's absolute chaos, and that is the definition. It is chaos.
So, if it is chaos, is that more of a sign then that the Messiah is close?
The Muslims will tell you, yeah. That's how the Mahdi's coming, right? One of the major signs of the Mahdi is chaos. But Jewish, what's it called, eschatology.
Just real quick, can you tell our audience what the Mahdi is so they are clear on that?
The Mahdi is this is very dodgy. He is not the Messiah of Islam. The Mahdi is the Muslim kind of, I don't know how you call it, not redeemer, but one who rises in the end of days, who comes with Jesus, the Messiah, right? Islam believes that Jesus is the Messiah. Muhammad is the prophet. Jesus is the Messiah. And the Mahdi comes as like the Muslim representative with Jesus to proclaim that Muhammad and his message was correct and the Quran was correct, Allah, the whole 9 yards. And that time period is signified by absolute chaos. That's like one of the biggest signs of their end. So I wouldn't mind looking in their forums at this point in time. I've done that in a while to see if they're jumping up and down because of this chaos. I mean, they are causing serious chaos. I would assume they would believe that their time is about to come.
it's something interesting because one of the reasons why I started to do the show was all three of the world's religions, the top three world's religions, all have an end point, an end time.
Right.
So I always find that very interesting. All right, this is the end of part one. Again, a reminder that this is a prophecy on Israel National Radio, Root Sheva, and the show is syndicated as Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis, and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell your friends and family to do so. And also a reminder that I'm on JApp. That's www.j-app.me. And you can also download JApp by going to Google Play Stores or from the website. And that's an application, a Jewish application that has a lot of shirim on there, as well as episodes of my show. So go ahead and check that out. When we come back, we're going to continue the conversation with Rabbi Katz, and we're going to talk about links between some of the tragedies that have happened to the Jewish people in the recent year, the boys that were kidnapped and murdered, what happened in Har Nof, and what happened recently. If there's a link, and if that also contributes to Gog HaMagog and the New World Order. So that's more after this. This is It Prophecy on Israel National Radio, and we'll be right back after these messages.